My theory on the origins of the Gemini Coven. As far as the Gemini Coven goes, to be honest, there's this whole thing of right of the Gemini Coven is a huge coven, right? It's not just white people or black people or these people or that people, right? It's a huge coven that it's like this huge coven like this, wham, and it's not like just like I mean, I don't think it's like family. I don't think it's like just family, right? I feel like there's sections within the Gemini Coven, right? I don't think it's just like this huge family situation, right? But anyways, so we have this huge coven, right? Wham! I feel like these small families make up this huge coven, right? That's how I genuinely feel, but it's fine. If we have this, you know what I mean? Because Bo is black and like maybe he was like I don't know, whatever the heck. You feel me? But anyways, 2,000 years ago, BCE, right? Silas, Ketsi, and Mara. I feel as though, okay, Silas and Ketsia create their mortality elixir. Boom. The great witch split happens. Wham! Oh my gosh, we don't want to achieve higher greatness. Oh my gosh, we do want to achieve higher greatness. The travelers go over here. The conventional witches like Grams and Bonnie and stuff of that nature go this way. You feel me? People with that type of mentality of like, yeah, we shouldn't reach for higher greatness. We should just be servants of nature. You know what I mean? They went to the left, right? The Esthers of the world went to the left, right? Now, when we're talking about what happens next, right? What happens next is the travelers, right? Because the travelers were still doing magic. They were still whamming over here. The conventional witches got scared and placed a curse on the travelers. Nope, sorry, you can't do magic no more. Tell me you can't do magic. You can't do magic together no more. You feel me? Y'all are too dangerous. Okay. So whenever they would like get together, right, the catastrophe struck. You remember the originals, right? Whenever the originals got together via the Nadu, like, oh my gosh, Nadu's in me, but if we get together, everything goes to hell, right? You feel me? Catastrophe strikes, you know? Even with like Davina, right? She has all these people inside of her, right? And catastrophe strikes because it's just too much magic. You dig me? The world is actually falling apart. You know what I mean? Um, these constant themes of like basically suppressing this group, right? What ends up happening is I feel like the leader of the travelers, this is why like the Bennetts and what's it called? The Bennetts and the Geminis were so close. This is how I feel genuinely. This is my theory. I feel as though the leader of the travelers was at the time that it got cursed, right? The time that the travelers got cursed, the leader of the travelers was a Gemini Coven member. A Gemini Coven member, right? As far as yeah. Yeah. That's why I believe. You feel me? But then again, watch this. As far as the business, right? They're very service of nature. As far as but I feel like I have to be very specific here. I was just talking about how it's like I was just talking about how they were not related and how they were just like this huge what's it called? Like small covenants like that makes up one huge coven. But of course, even in season 6, they talk about how like, oh my gosh, my family and it's a huge family and da 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 and the coven and that. They talk about how it's a huge family and stuff like that. So I guess even Bo and Valerie are somehow related and Mary Jane, Lissa, talking about Mary Jane, Lissa Jane. You feel me? Mary Lou and Nora are whatever the heck related. Apparently, it's just so weird. Anyways, I feel like even though the majority of the Gemini coven went to the left and became service of nature, I feel like the leader at the time was like had like blood relation to the Gemini coven. You feel me? Or was some type of like yeah, had like some type of blood relation to the Gemini coven. And so when the curse was placed on these travelers so they couldn't like do magic together, right? I feel as though that is why this is about to be like a stretch, but I feel as though that is why when we get over here with the service of nature, I feel like that's why like siphoners, like every couple of whatever the heck, siphoners come about. You feel me? Now we have like regular people with like regular witch magic and stuff like that, but then every couple of years, a siphoner pulls up. You feel me? Out of the roots, reminding the Gemini Coven of their ultimate betrayal. You feel me? Of their ultimate betrayal. You know what I mean? Um, or maybe not even just like the leader of the travelers was a Gemini Coven. I mean, I guess yeah. Let's go with leader because the Gemini Coven is very organized, um, very just like they give like very prejudiced. They give like very prejudiced. They give that off so bad. The very prejudiced vibe. You feel me? But very like organized, very prejudiced vibe. Very like ugh. But anyways, so when we could get over here, right, to the servants of nature Gemini side, the siphoners come up, and that's why they always exile the siphoners, right? They always exile the siphoners because it's a reminder. The siphoners are a reminder of their biggest betrayal. You know what I mean? Mind you, they went over to this side, but there was one that was over this side. You feel me? When the spell was placed, you feel me? So what ends up happening is their betrayal, right? Their you feel me? The curse is affecting them in a way they can't like do magic with other travelers, but the curse is also affecting the people that are tied to them as far as blood relation over here. So I will have to go back on my statement and say that this is about to be so weird, but all the Gemini Coven is related, right? And then we're gonna say that that would mean that like Nora and like Mary Lou, right, are related. Wouldn't that mean that? But anyways, it's whatever. Distant relations, but related nonetheless, I suppose. As far as yeah, that's why I think that like they that's why I think that they exiled the siphoners because it was like a constant reminder of their biggest betrayal. Um, and this whole idea of like you feel me, them calling on the Bennetts 24/7 to create these prison worlds, right? And this is why I always go back to the psychic gene. Like I believe that everybody in the Travelers had a psychic gene, but it's fine. Okay. Um, I feel like the Geminis were like the leader of the Travelers at the time of that curse being placed. I also feel like even though many went to the conservative, the servants of nature side, you feel me? Of like the leader over here were the leader of the Travelers over here at the time of the curse were a Gemini Coven's member. As far as how closely related they were to like the Bennetts, the Gemini Coven and the Bennetts were like extremely close, extraordinarily close. And the Bennetts would like, you feel me, pull up, do like a prison world for them, all type of stuff. Which means that like maybe the Gemini Coven were like the leaders of the witch world. You know what I mean? As far as like ranking goes, as far as hierarchy goes, as far as organization goes. You feel me? But then again, a lot of people gonna probably bring up the originals. Oh my gosh, Nola has their own ranking and stuff like this. But I feel like the Geminis were the OGs. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, that was my theory on the origins of the Gemini Coven. It was very quick to be honest, but that's why I think genuinely happened. Because over here they couldn't do magic, right? When it comes to like, okay, let's say the Gemini Coven members over here, right? But there was many over here. When the curse was placed onto them, they couldn't do magic with the travelers, but this appeared, right? This manifestation of not being able to do magic in relation to the travelers appeared differently and affected this side differently. You feel me? Like the curse affected this side differently as well. The people in the Gemini Coven, and it said basically, okay, cool, you can't do magic over here. We're gonna make anti-magic people. We're gonna make actual full-blown human beings. You think me? Who just can't do magic? You can just consume magic from others. You feel me? But you can't do magic. I mean, then again, even if you can consume magic and you can do magic. You feel me? To be honest, but we're gonna create siphoners. We're gonna create siphoners. You know what I mean that's gonna be the side effect of the curse that was placed on these people. That's how it's gonna affect the rest of the Gemini Coven. That's over here. You feel me? And that's just my theory on that stuff. But if you like this video, well, subscribe by the way. Yeah, subscribe and like for more TVDU theories. Bye.